Happy Sunday, guys. It's a glorious morning, and kind of woke up this morning and just wanting to smoke out some brisket and barbecue. And I don't know if you guys have ever had that feeling, but I certainly did. So that's why I came over to the Home Depot. I'm gonna go buy a smoker, and we're gonna smoke some meats. It's gonna be great. Picked up the Masterbuilt, the upright. I had a phone call with a great gentleman from Texas. I don't even think he's from Texas, he's actually from here, but he's an awesome barbecue pit master, Zach Jones. Thanks for the sway. We got the Masterbuilt upright, and we're about to smoke some meats. I said that, but I'm gonna say it again. Okay, we're back. We're in my how-to laboratory, aka our backyard. I wanted to show you what we purchased, and I'm gonna go from there. Okay, so here are the goods that I purchased. I got some gloves just so I can handle the brisket, and it seems a lot more professional. Got an extra thermometer so I can obviously test the temperature, but also so I can hey, get out of here, this isn't for you. So I can see how the bark feels once we get about 4 hours in. And then I did pick up 4 different types of wood chunks. I'll probably do a mix of the hickory and maybe apple wood, or some sort of combination there. And then of course, the smoker itself. Ended up going with this guy here for 2 reasons. One, it was much more cost effective. This was a $250 grill where the Traeger was $550, but also I did not hear great things about the Traeger pellets, so that's why I went with this guy, so we could use wood chunks. So total investment with all of this stuff, you're gonna just over $300. Okay, so we're gonna get where I'm going to get started. Ethan's taking a nap. I'm gonna put this thing together. It is 9:15 in the morning, and we're gonna see how long it takes. So here we go. Some tools required, so your screwdriver here, and then I just use this attachment here. It does call for an adjustable wrench, but it's actually just a 10mm, so that was a lot easy to use. And then of course you need a knife to be cutting some stuff, and yeah, it's always cool to have one. So. All right, so it's 10:11. It took me a little bit less than an hour to complete. Check out what we got. So here is the finished smoker. I think it looks a lot like that. I got nothing really left in here. I did actually use these instructions. Big shout out to my Navy time, showing me how to do those guys. But yeah, so far it looks like we got everything on here ready to rock and roll. I'm going to fire it up and get things going. I think we're about ready to fire up. So for today's first smoke ever, I'm gonna use a combination of some hickory and some apple. There's really no science to it. I'm just kind of winging it, and I like both of the woods, and I'm gonna throw them in there, fire this bad boy up, get it to temperature, and then we'll bring you inside. We'll season the meat, and then we're smoking. All right, so she is fired up. I'm closing this bad boy. Closed up. I'm gonna be monitoring the temperature. I'm gonna go inside and get some of the meat going. Okay. Well, I have my apron on, because you know you can't really cook without an apron on. And we also have a special guest here in the kitchen. Everyone welcome Mr. Ethan Mark. He's super excited to be here. We're going to be seasoning using our Bergman proprietary blend of spices on the brisket. I've let it cool down to room temperature. There's a whole bunch of, I guess, opinions on that, but it's beef and we can let it cool down to room temp. We're gonna apply the proprietary blend of season, and then we're gonna put it on that smoker because I think it's gonna be at temp. So now we're gonna season. Okay, so before we actually season, I'm gonna take this piece of brisket here. It's 6.2 pounds of brisket, and it does have a little bit more fat on it than I would prefer. I say I prefer because I've only done this never, but based on the education that I've given myself and videos I've watched, you want about a 1/4 inch of fat on the fat side. Actually, it looks pretty good. So I'm gonna take it out of this package, I'm gonna pat it dry, and then we're going to put our seasoning on it. here is the Bergman proprietary blend. It's really nothing fancy. We took a little bit of coarse kosher salt. I took some coarse black pepper. And I did about a 50-50% ratio on each of those. And then to add a little bit more texture, some of the celery seed I put in there. Probably 20% of the entire ratio is celery seed. So I'm gonna apply that pretty conservatively. I don't really like a brisket that has a ton of seasoning on it. I don't think you need it. So I'm gonna put enough on there to where it'll help enhance the bark, but not overdo it. So I came out here and the heat was a little bit too high, so I adjusted some of the dampers and I can already see a change in there. I'm gonna cook today's, they call it fast and hot, or hot and fast, whatever you wanna call it. And so I'm gonna try to get that temperature around 400 degrees. I'm popping the brisket in and hopefully it's about a 4-hour cook. Okay, got the temperature around 400. I'm gonna go ahead and pop that brisket in. And now we wait. I know he's really hungry. He's been a little fussy pants, but we're gonna wait a few hours. I'll test the temperature here. You know, it's what, 11? So come 3 p.m. we'll check the temp and then we will wrap it and then put it in for another hour and we should have some dinner. All right guys, we are 1.5 hours into our smoke. It's time for a claw. Okay, so we're going on hour 2, which you know what that means. It's a time for another claw. And let's go check on the brisket. So we're supposed to cook the internal temperature of the brisket to around 160 degrees. I'm going to test that now. I have a good feeling that it is at 160 degrees, so I'm going to pull it out of the smoker and then I'm going to wrap it in some butcher paper and put it back in there, reduce the temperature down to between 2 and 225 and let it cook for the last remaining hour, and then we'll pull it out and then let it set for an hour, and that should be it. So I'm gonna go ahead and test the temperature and then wrap it. Alright guys, it's been another hour, so I'm going to go back out there. I'm going to test the brisket, and this time I know it's already up the temperature, but what we're looking for is a texture. So I'm going to take my thermometer, I'm going to probe it through the paper and into the actual brisket itself, and what we're trying to feel is almost like I'm taking the thermometer and pushing it through peanut butter. At that point, I will know that the texture is there, and it's going to really pass that pull test, which we'll hopefully get to later, but that's what we're doing now, and I'm going to show you guys that. Alright, so it has been maintaining the 300 degree temperature for the last hour. So I'm gonna take our thermometer here and I'm gonna stick this through the paper, and I'm looking for a texture. I'm still also going to see what the temperature readout is, but I really want it to feel like that peanut butter. Smooth, but not peanut butter smooth. It went through pretty good, so I think I'm still gonna keep cooking it. Well, all right, it's another hour down. My partner down here, he's got a lot of great patience, but another hour down, another claw to go. Let's check the meat and hope that everything is a go. Pretty smooth. We're gonna test the temperature in here, and again, we're hoping between 200 and 215, and I think that's the temperature where it gets really great from everything that I've read. But so far, it felt really great going in, so let's see what it reads. It's climbing up there. It's around 210 right now, so that's a really good sign. It's a 337, and we finally got, I think, what we're gonna go with the first version of our brisket. So the texture feels really good when puncturing it through there. It's well over the temperature it needs to be cooked. I'm gonna pull it out. I'm going to set it and let it rest for 30 minutes, and then we're going to slice into it. All right, we are at the final stage. We're getting ready to cut into it. This is what's really going to determine if the smoke fest was good and the claws really provided some additional benefit. That. Nice little one on. Like a little pull test. So that's the pull test. It's pull test. Oh lordy. You got a cameo. What do you think? Go.
Amazing. Very tender.
That's amazing. All up in your.
Oh, that's good. That's better than what I had in Texas.
And that's all we have left. That was a long day of smoking. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you learned something. I certainly did. If you have any suggestions or any recommendations you'd like to provide, go ahead and shoot them in the comment section. But for now, I'm gonna celebrate my night with a whiskey.